Welcome back. My name is Carrie, and today I'm going to tell you why there is a very good chance you'll regret buying a home in 2021. A recent survey from Bankrate says that 64% of millennials and 33% of baby boomers have some regrets over their recent home purchase. These numbers don't surprise me considering the current market conditions, which are unlike anything I've ever seen in over 10 years of selling manufactured homes. A house I put for sale in January sold in 6 hours, and things have gotten crazier since then. As a home provider, I talk to a lot of people who are looking for their next home, and you can see the stress on their face and hear the frustration in their voice. On top of that, I get a lot of comments on this channel from people who are in the market, and I'm noticing more and more lately people are fed up and putting their purchase on ice until things settle down. If you're currently in the market, one of the best things you can do to prevent regret is learn from others' mistakes. So what I'm going to do is tell you some of the things causing regret, and hopefully it'll help you along in your home buying journey. So let's do it. The other day, I went to a store in town looking for a new backpack. I knew the make and model I wanted, but hadn't made a decision whether I was going to get black or navy blue. The entire process took me about 15 minutes from the time I parked my car to the time I was checking out with my new black backpack. That 15 minutes is the same amount of time people are expected to make a decision on their next home in some markets. Right now, in many places, the process is go to an open house and frantically look around with a bunch of other people, and then you go talk to your realtor and decide how much of an offer you're going to submit because you know they're going to be reviewing the offers at 5. Then they'll be deciding who has the privilege of buying that home. I'm sorry, but that is out to lunch. The problem is the market doesn't care if I think it's out to lunch, and there are people who desperately want to buy a new home. The people who've been house hunting for any length of time know how hard it is to secure a new home, and their competitive nature starts to take over instead of their logic. If they missed out on a few houses they wanted, they offer more aggressively on the next one because they just want to get something, until the point they become the highest bid on a house they decided would be the perfect fit for the next stage of their life in the same time that it took me to buy a backpack. It wasn't that long ago that you could look at every home in your price range, sometimes more than once, then sit down and compare and decide which one was going to be the perfect fit. Right now, people are buying any house instead of the right house, and it's leading to regret because the market is so competitive that people don't have enough time to actually know if the house they're buying is a house worth buying. The speed at which prices have been rising is another thing leading to regret. If buyers weren't able to find the home they wanted when they started shopping, they now have less buying power than they were expecting, and they have to choose between making adjustments to their budget or compromising their must-have list. Increasing the budget can feel like the only option to actually be able to buy a home, but chasing prices has led 13% of millennials, 5% of Gen X, and 3% of baby boomers feeling like they overpaid. A lot of people don't have the option to increase their budget, so they're making concessions to their must-have list or buying fixer-uppers. A fixer-upper can be an amazing way to add sweat equity to a property, but when a purchase is rushed because of the extreme competition or having to waive an inspection clause to make your offer stand out, it's easy to get surprises that are going to be well over budget. One example is Stella Guan, who moved from New Jersey to LA back in February and bought a house. She was interviewed by Market Insider's Taylor Borden and is a perfect example of someone who regrets buying in these conditions. She made 7 or 8 offers on other homes before getting an accepted offer on a rancher-style home, on which she thought she got lucky because the sellers took her original offer rather than bothering to send her a counter. It turned out the home had black mold and repairs cost way more than she had planned. She had budgeted $30,000 and the repair alone cost $50,000, leaving her nothing for her planned renovation. Home buyers with a set budget are choosing between paying more than they originally planned, which is a slippery slope considering you set that budget for a reason, or buying something that needs work without fully understanding the extent of the work needed. It's really easy to get caught up in the moment, and by the time they realize the consequences of going over budget or missing something important like black mold, it's too late, and cue the feelings of regret. If you're still looking to buy but haven't been able to find anything just yet, there may be a small glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel. A new report by CNBC, hot off the press yesterday, suggests that the market may finally be cooling. Even though mortgage rates dropped from 3.18 to 3.17 last week, the Mortgage Bankers Association said that applications to purchase a new home fell 3% and were 2% lower than the same week 1 year ago. Finally, some good news. Not only that, but pending home sales, which are counted by contracts signed and therefore an indicator of closed sales, fell by a wider than expected 4.4% according to the National Association of Realtors. I don't think the slowdown in mortgage applications or pending sales is a result of lower demand. I think there's still a lot of people out there who want to buy a house, but with low inventory and rising prices, I think more and more people have just hit the wall and are left with no other option but to wait and see what happens. I had an interesting conversation with a top realtor in my area last week, and he said he's noticed that the frenzy is subsiding and he expects that trend to continue. His theory is that as more and more places ease restrictions and people are able to get out and do some of the stuff that they like to do, buying a house isn't going to be the only thing on people's minds. Maybe people will go on a family vacation, buy concert tickets, or do any of the things they like to do that haven't been available to them over the last year. So he thinks that people's money will be directed in different areas. If his theory comes to fruition, we'll see less competition for new listings, and hopefully the market will be able to build up a reasonable amount of inventory so people will actually have some options when they're ready to buy their next home. This would be great news because even though a busy market is great for someone selling homes, this has been over the top and massively stressful for anyone trying to buy. If you decide now is the right time for you to buy, make sure you're working with an experienced realtor who has a beat on what's happening in the market and is also working with your best interests in mind. I would be looking for someone who takes the time to fully understand what you need and helps you find it without pressuring you to make an offer on something over budget or on something that doesn't have everything you need. Every realtor isn't going to be a perfect fit for every client, and if you feel like they don't understand what you want, find someone who does. Buying a home is stressful enough in a balanced market, so right now you want to make sure you work with someone who's going to help you mitigate the chance of regret, because we're all human and we don't always make decisions that are logical. If you learn from the people who bought something they didn't like, overpaid, or got burned because they felt they didn't need an inspection, hopefully you can save yourself from feeling any regret down the road. Until the market stabilizes and we get back to something that somewhat resembles a balanced market, I think some people are going to have regret in their home buying experience because they're rushing, breaking budgets, and buying fixer-uppers when they haven't had time to do a full assessment of the house. As prices continue to squeeze people, I see more and more people putting their purchase on the back burner because they're simply out of options. As more people leave the home buying competition, hopefully we'll see more inventory hit the market and things will somewhat stabilize, but only time will tell. That's all I've got for today. If you like manufactured home videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I've got new ones coming out every single week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.